Wahrscheinlich haben wir nicht viele erwischt von diesen Schriftrollen. Denke ich mal, sind diese Sammelobjekte. 3 haben wir, 4 haben wir nicht bekommen.
A long time ago, in a peaceful valley on a spring evening, a star descended from the sky, and from the sky to the mountains, and from the mountains to the ground, whose grass was too dry. It slipped like the murmur of a mother in the ear of her child.
Die haben wir nicht bekommen.
But the tree was only a beginning, because this tree was actually a throne, the throne of a god, Amlak Ebab, the serpent god, newly arrived from heaven. His scales were full of miracles picked up along his journey. It was his gift for the young earth. In a village not far away, Tia, a young child from the weaver's tribe, whose mother was the chief, was saddened by the poor state of the crops. The ground was dry. "The earth is dying," said her mother. "It means that somewhere men have begun to despise her." Their vegetable gardens were almost bare, so Tia went out to gather. Would the great valley really stop feeding men? Venturing into a cave, she came upon an incredible sight. An unparalleled animal, a sumptuous serpent, a god taking flight. The tree bore fruit with strange patterns, fruit that gave you courage, and whose taste was so delicious it gave the impression of biting into the velvet of the sky. She ran to the village. Her feet were so light she felt she was flying. Tia's mother wove tapestries that spoke of old legends. One of them told of Hewatzaf, the mother tree, and its sacred egg, the Enkolal. "They are gods," said the mother, "and from now on we will watch over them as they watch over us." Facing the egg, Tia felt something deep in her belly. It seemed like... Tia's mother wove tapestries that spoke of old legends. One of them told of Hewatzaf, the mother tree, and its sacred egg. The villagers laid the first stones of a temple at the entrance of the grotto. It was a majestic entrance, an entrance that informed the serpent god that this land was his. It was there to remind everyone that a people who forget that the earth is sacred deserve the misfortunes that overwhelm them. Tia grew up, and with her, her love for the egg of life. Her mother gave her her blessing that she might become a monk of the temple of Isa. She vowed to protect the Hewatzaf and the Enkolal. They belonged to no one and fed everyone. Things had to stay that way. The music and the laughter of the monks resounded in the great rooms of Isa, mingling with those of the visitors. Tia celebrated the tree and the egg, surrounding them with traditional garlands, colored with the help of Oran, a sour-faced monk, whose necklace of bells was his only folly. Years had passed. The fertile valley made people happy. One day, the serpent god returned from his long journey to the depths of the sky. The monks bowed to him on their knees as the serpent wrapped his rings around the tree. Something here was going to start again. A new egg, a new Enkelal. The serpent invited Tia to receive it in her arms. The serpent invited Tia to receive it in her arms. The Amlak Ebab smelled like 1,000 incenses, a fragrance from the depths of time that made her dizzy. A few steps away, Oran was watching the scene in the silence of his bells. He did not smile. Everyone knows an egg is one of the most fragile things on earth. It was therefore forbidden for the monks to touch the sacred egg. But Oran kept getting closer to the Enkelal until one day he tried to steal it right from under Tia's gaze. That day, there was no laughter in the temple of Isa. There was a great evil in Oran's mind. The monks decided he must leave because this evil endangered the Enkelal. Tia said, "The music of your bells has darkened, Oran. Do not return until this wound in you has healed." Following an ancestral custom, the bells of the deceased and the bells of the widower harmonized to play music that would soothe bereavement. But Oran, who always wore his bells, refused to forget. And when he took the bells from her tomb to add them to his, he welcomed the emptiness, since it was all he had left of her.
Ja, es war so der Gelöckne, der unbedingt das Ei haben wollte, um seine Leere zu füllen.
Absence is a cruel demon. It had twisted Oran's face into a grimace of pain. The bells, which now grew on his body like warts, sounded relentlessly, reminding him at every step that he was walking alone. So he tried to fill his loneliness by devouring, looting, and pillaging. His hunger, however, like his emptiness, was infinite. Pain had made Oran strong and cruel. To find something to satisfy his permanent hunger, he needed recruits. They called him the bell ringer. His bells drew to him broken souls like his own, and these souls became his army. Soon, the power he had over people became his new poison, and Oran had a plan. Life often brings us back to where we left off, but it brings us back transformed. Oran returned to the Temple of Isa with the face of a monster. He drove out the monks, his old companions, and forbade them ever to return. The temple was now his. No one now stood between him and the object of his quest. Oran rushed through the halls of the temple where he had spent so many years. He no longer felt their sacred power. It was but a path that was leading him to the only thing he thought could finally fill his hunger, his pain, his loneliness. He wanted to devour the Enkelal, but the sacred egg was gone, so the ringer screamed. Alerted by the bells of the ringer, Tia had recognized Oran and fled with the Enkelal. The furious chimes of the ringer made the young woman tremble. He might have devoured the egg had she not fled. The madness of one being might have brought back drought and desolation to the valley. The temple was now empty, haunted by the threats of the ringer who had sworn he would roam the place, waiting for the egg. I will kill anyone who crosses my path, he promised. Patiently and carefully, Tia waited for the return of the serpent god to give the Enkalal back to him. Moved by Tia's devotion, the god then gave her a gift. Tia's belly was full of a miracle that was soon to come. She did not know where the serpent god was or what had become of the egg. But she had a dream, and from that dream she wove a tapestry. It was a vision of the future. A vision that said that, whatever the harm done by men, life always finds a seed to make it grow.
Und das waren alle, die wir gefunden haben. Eine kleine Story nochmal erzählt. Und ich hoffe, euch hat's gefallen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.